Hi, welcome to the Rittner Floral School in Boston, Mass. I'm Dr. Steve Rittner, and it's a pleasure to welcome you into one of our classrooms today. The time of the year, we're getting close to July 4th, and so we thought it would be kind of fun to just make a big, giant 4th of July arrangement. And I think you guys are really going to find it kind of fun. First of all, we start with our container. And the container is a starting point on any arrangement, and as we say to our students, containers are our best friends. Each container has very, very unique characteristics, and the reason I chose this particular container is it's a nice piece of ceramic. It's very, very pretty. It's white, which is perfect as far as the holiday is concerned. It's actually a speckled white, and it has a very, very contemporary effect to it, very contemporary type feel to it. And I thought that this would be a kind of fun one to design with. Now, in terms of our materials, I'm going to start with a flower that you probably would not consider to be a contemporary flower. It's one that's been around for a long time, and yet I think that this is often overlooked by many people in terms of their designing, the gladiola. In my opinion, glads are an amazing flower. I think it's a shame that too many people associate the glad as being primarily a sympathy design kind of flower or a tribute flower, because when these things open, they come in a huge range of colors and they are impressive. Look at the size of the stem. You can get some amazing things out of them. And so whenever we use glads here at Rittner's Floral School in Boston, we deliberately use them in things that are contemporary, things that are interesting. In other words, we want to get away from the glads only for tribute kind of thing. And so we're going to play with a few because they're coming in so nicely now, and we can get them in the reds and we can get them in the whites, and therefore they will work very, very well in the context of a July 4th design. And so I'm going to start with my gladiolas, and I'm going to play with them. And I'm going to take one piece, and I'm going to use my first piece to really come up with height on my design. Now, when you see this, when you look at it, you're going to say, oh my God. Most of my students say that when we make something big like this, and then they're having to figure out how to get it home. It is big, it is large, but that's part of the fun of these kinds of things. Making something that will be large, that will be showy, and will give us a really cool effect relatively quickly. Now, I can use one of these things to create height on the design, but I can also come down a little bit closer, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to take another glad and place it down a little bit closer to the base, a little bit shorter, so that in that way, I'm creating a visual effect coming down here and then bringing my eye down here. Let's play with some more of our glads. And our glads come, again, in a variety of different colors, perfect for this time of the year. We have, of course, our white glads. And so I'm going to add a white glad, and I'm going to place it right over here. I think you're going to see very, very quickly, my viewer, why I am so enthusiastic about gladiolas. My students say, there isn't a flower out there you don't like, Dr. Steve, and they're right. Every flower, every botanical brings something unique to the design table, and yet, in my opinion, look at these. They're absolutely gorgeous. They are humongous, and I'm not breaking out a sweat on this one. This one, I'm just chatting with you guys, I'm throwing the thing together. It's quick, it's easy. That's the beauty of this kind of material. They really work very, very well for us in terms of coming up with an effect. Now, just as I used a taller one and a shorter one here, I've got one over here. I'm going to shoot down over onto this side. I'm going to add another glad over onto this side. So we're definitely coming up with something that feels kind of linear. And notice how this gives us a very nice kind of contrast where we've got our whites kind of shooting over here, our reds kind of coming down over here. Let's play with this just a little bit more. I'm going to take another one of my glads, and I am going to place it. Just bear with me for a second, my viewer, as I'm cutting it. And I'm going to place this one over here. So notice that we're playing with the combinations of the reds, of the whites, to come up with an interesting kind of an effect. Now, I'm going to take another bit of gladiola, and I'm going to take a section of a stem, and I'm going to play with it over here. So I've got not only my whites coming down over here, and my reds coming down over here, and coming over to here. So we've got some interesting things going on between our reds and our whites. Now, we could stop at this point if we wanted to, but we want to play with this a little bit more. So far, we got lots of white, we got lots of red. Let's play with some other materials. And one of my favorite flowers, really, really good, especially at this time of the year. Isn't this gorgeous? Delphinium. It's absolutely radiant. It's got this amazing, vibrant blue color. It is absolutely gorgeous. It really works very, very well in terms of the red, white, and blue motif. I'm going to take a piece of this, and I'm going to place it right over here. So we're going to get a little bit of our blue delphinium over here. I'm going to take another piece of my delphinium, and I'm going to place it in between here and here. Let's work some right over here. What do you think, my viewer? This is coming together very, very nicely. So notice that what I'm doing here, my viewer, I'm playing with contrast in my colors, and I'm coming up with eyes kind of shape coming in towards the design using the various kinds of colors that I have available to me to play with. Now, I still have some more of my delphinium. I'm going to place another piece over right here. Because I worked on the left side, now I'm going to work over towards the right. Now, one of the neat things about our glads is, as I've been taking my glad and cutting it, and I've been doing this kind of over on the side. In other words, I can take these flowers and I can literally cut them down in sections, and I've been doing that. And I've got a little piece over here that I would like to add. It's a weird kind of little piece that came off of what I had just shot. I'm going to sneak this in over here. It gives an interesting effect. So notice I'm just gradually working towards the center of my design. It's almost like I'm working towards a bullseye. Now we do need a focal point in the arrangement, and to come up with a focal point on my design, I'm going to go with an easy fix. Hydrangea. You can't go wrong with it. It's blue, it's big, and now notice, my viewer, I can take my hydrangea and then boom, right smack dab in the middle where all of these things come together, and notice how that fills in very, very nicely. I could stop at this point if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. I'm going to play a little bit more. I'm going to take a little bit more of my delphinium, and I'm going to place a piece coming out over here. In other words, notice I've got my red coming down here and here and in here. I've got my white coming over here and here. I'm going to use my blue of my delphinium here, 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 and here, gradually to bring my eye in towards our focal point of the design. And so I'm taking some of my delphinium, I'm breaking it into smaller pieces, and I'm just gradually working a little bit here and there in towards the center. Isn't that gorgeous? It really works very, very well, and it gives a very, very neat effect to my design. Now, I do have some mechanics that need to be covered because this is a foam-based design, and generally covering our mechanics, we could use a combination of things. We could take some of our foliage, we could take some of our mosses. Here, let's take a little bit of my foliage and place a few pieces of green right here and there. I would continue to do this also over onto the other side of the design, because that way all of my mechanics would be nicely covered. I can also take a few pieces of moss and basically with a little piece of wire attach it in so it gives kind of a natural effect. Whoops, that one came off. Here, we'll add another one where I'm going to take a little bit of my moss and then hairpin it in with a little piece of wire. So what do you think, my viewer? A big design. This is not teeny tiny. Look, I mean, it's a large size piece. Quick, easy, and fun. That's the Rittner Floral School way. Quick, easy, and fun. And with just a few of my red glads, a couple of my white glads, some pieces of my delphinium, a hydrangea as a focal, we have a very contemporary, very, very pretty design that definitely says July 4th. On behalf of all of us here at Rittner's Floral School, I'm Dr. Steve Rittner. I hope you enjoyed this brief demonstration on how to do a July 4th arrangement. Go out, get some glads. They're a neat flower. Get some of your delphinium, get some hydrangea. Experiment. You can come up with all kinds of interesting variations on this kind of thing that will enhance your home for the holidays. Thank you for coming in and visiting us here at Rittner's Floral School in Boston.